that kind of transitioned out of me not being a teacher into more of a personal training arena. And then from a personal training arena, having some other certifications, moving into the management and ownership of CrossFit Dahlonega. I did, like I said, get a degree at UNG in physical education, the kinesiology department, I guess now. And now that's pretty much where I'm at. I own, run, operate, coach, do all of the things in regards to CrossFit Dahlonega in town here. So that's kind of, a background and introduction to who I am right now. What else should I throw out there, Carrie?
Maybe like background in sports. Were you an athlete growing up?
Yeah, that's good. So I was an athlete growing up. I played a lot of sports, but really focused on baseball and on football. Those are the two main sports that I played growing up as a kid. I was since the age of 4 played baseball all the way up through high school until I graduated in high school, and then I also played football through high school, but really focused hard on football my last year, but then knew that I wasn't going to be good enough because, I'm not good at football for any collegiate field whatsoever. So I said, I want to serve my country and move into the Marine Corps. So those are some of the sports that I did. But I still play sports, I guess, intramurally. Like I crushed some intramural sports dodgeball at the old UNG. You may see my name somewhere on a wall. I don't know. Possibly. Probably not. That's a lie. It's not up there. I wasn't that good. But I did have fun and do still play sports for fun.
So how did you, let's say, you kind of talked about you didn't know exactly what you wanted to do. You wanted to do something physical, right? That was always a passion of yours. So what made you kind of, lean towards opening a gym and getting involved in CrossFit and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I knew obviously through the Marine Corps and through wanting to, moving through high school into the Marine Corps and into college, just being active all the time. I knew I wanted to do something physical, but then it manifested a lot more in my time at UNG, where I had a lot of different professors in my degree field, like you guys have, that I tied into, but then also my friends in that same time encouraged me and challenged me in some different ways physically, and invited me actually to go to a CrossFit gym all the time. But a lot of my professors were on the, cutting edge of like, hey, kinesiology is not just about tricep extensions and bicep curls. Like, that's not what it is. And so they would always push me to think outside of the box of what kinesiology actually is and what it looks like to be in the field of kinesiology. And even just in some of the classes where I had to write a paper essentially on what I wanted to do in the future, it made me think. It made me start to ponder what my future would look like outside of UNG once I graduated. And so I thought it was going to be in the teaching field. It turns out I love kids, but I don't want to teach kids in that setting. So that didn't work out for me. And instead, I turned and pivoted more into the personal training. And I liked personal training. I like engaging with human beings on a face-to-face level, helping them achieve things that they didn't realize that they could possibly achieve. But then with my other friends inviting me to actually come out to a CrossFit gym, that was a really big light bulb switch for me. Like, oh man, there's a lot more to this than just personal training. I can get a lot more impact in people's lives on a larger scale in this setting. And also the methodology of CrossFit, where it's not just those sets and reps. It's challenging yourself and pushing each other in a class environment to really be the best that you possibly can. That got me hooked into CrossFit. And so from there, I really started to just follow the movement pattern of starting CrossFit, than wanting to be a coach, learning what it looks like to be a coach, getting certified as a coach, and moving from being a coach in CrossFit to some owners of gyms reaching out to me and asking if I would manage gyms for them. So I managed gyms for them for years, a couple of years there in the middle. And then I moved from management to recently owning CrossFit Dahlonega past couple of years. So it's been like a trend of love fitness, but what the freaking crap am I going to do with fitness? Like, cool, I can make a couple, like $20 for a half-hour training session, but is that really what I want to do? From there to, no, I really love fitness and I want to impact people's lives for the better. So how do I make that work in a large scale atmosphere?
Awesome. So what would you say an average day looks like you, or looks like,
Yeah.
for you?
Well, an average day looks like me eating at a Waffle House every single morning with my wife. No, I'm kidding.
I like it.
There is some freedom for sure in owning your own business, but that freedom I think comes with a lot of different costs at the same time, where you can really get sucked into what you do and you just become your business, which me, definitely, I am sort of the face of CrossFit Dahlonega, and I am very much so responsible for everything that happens in the business. And so I have a lot of weight on my shoulders in that regard of CrossFit Dahlonega. But the pressure is to not let that happen to where it's all that you think about. It's all that you care about. So with me, a day-to-day basis varies a lot, but I do make an intentionality to not have it consume me, right? But during the day, it'll look normally, I wake up pretty darn early. So side note, don't just do the business of owning CrossFit Dahlonega. I also do another business with my wife of outdoor boot camps down in Cumming, where we live. So we do that, and I have those early morning boot camp classes in Cumming. So those are at 5 and 6:15. So every morning I wake up at about 4 o'clock. I get out of bed, get ready for the day, get to my location for the boot camps, have boot camps from 5 until about 7:15, spend some time at home with my wife and my daughter. Then I head up to CrossFit Dahlonega, where I'm engaging regularly with people. That's one of the biggest things in the fitness industry, is that, yeah, you might be the smartest dude in the world or smartest lady in the world in regards to how the body works, but if you don't have people skills, if you can't engage on a deeper level with other human beings, like it's great that you're smart, but you really have to relate to humans. You have to be able to have a conversation with people and to understand what they're going through and where they're coming from, especially in the industry that I'm in, as far as CrossFit and personal training goes. So you're almost doing two jobs of being a personal trainer, yes, but you're also like a shoulder to cry on, quote unquote, for people. Like, you hear their emotional things and you're just like, oh man, like, I'm sorry, like, what can I do to help? I don't know. But you really have to be that person a lot of times for people to just let themselves open up and not just be personally training them. But I'll get to the gym, I'll engage with human beings, I'll move kind of from that to about an hour or two of some business on the computer, emails, all that stuff, finances, managing the back end of just a business, which is so much fun in the world. It sucks. That's the worst part by far. Just kidding. It's not fun of owning a business. It's the thing that no one tells you about. You're like, oh man, I'm going to start a business. It's going to be great. I love this thing. Yeah, you got passion, but guess what? There's a lot of other crap that comes with it. So do that. And then in the middle of the day, I'll normally work out for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the middle of the day. And then I'll coach, either depending on the day, I'll have classes that I'm coaching in the afternoons at the gym. And then from there, about roll around to 4:30, 5 o'clock, get done, head home, and then hang out with my wife and family. That's that. And it's kind of a basic day in the life of CrossFit Dahlonega, Thomas Coggins.
Very nice. So we heard about the worst part, right? The business part of it. So what would you say is the best part?
Yeah, so the best part by far of owning your own business in the fitness industry specifically uh, would be the impact that you get to have on people's lives. You get to see people come in and day out, challenge themselves. You get to be the person that encourages them, pushes them to limits that they didn't think that they could surpass. They have all these self-perceived limits that they put on themselves to where they don't think they can do this thing, and you get to see them come in and through a incremental process continuously move forward and forward and forward and watch them literally transform physically, yeah, but even emotionally. Like when you get, obviously, I would hope that you guys know when you're active and when you're moving, you change not just physically, but your emotional state changes as well. You get much more confident. You get much more clear-minded. You have a lot better thought processes going through your head, and you're just not as I guess sad is the best way to put it emotionally. And so moving through that process of watching a brand new person who hasn't worked out in 10, 20, 30 years start with us and work through that process to being an amazingly strong and confident person where they have just completely transformed. That is by far the best thing that, or the most enjoyable part of my day, getting to witness that transformation occur. That and getting to work out whenever the heck I want.
Yes, that is a good one too. So for these students, they're kind of interested, you know, in multiple different areas of kinesiology. What would you say, maybe specifically to the ones who want to be a personal trainer or coach people in some way? What would you say, you know, would be some advice for them, as well as the ones who are still trying to figure out where they want to go in kinesiology?
Excuse me. Yeah, that's that's an excellent question, and the answer, I think, is kind of the same. No matter what you want to do, no matter where you want to go with kinesiology, or if you're kind of like, yeah, I like this, but I don't know if it's what I want to stick with. I think the answer there, and it's not definitive, but I think the best thing to continue to do is learn, continue to read, continue to listen to stuff, continue to ask people that are in the field, like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, but can you kind of teach me? Can you kind of take me under your wing or something like that? Especially if you do want to be in that field. So like if you want to be in the personal training world, or if you want to be a business owner of a fitness studio or whatever that might look like in the fitness industry specifically, ask somebody who's there. Always seek out mentorship in that arena, that field, but continuously learn as well different things in that specific field. So like, you know, you want to be in kines, that's awesome. Your classes now are very important. They're good for you, but don't just rely on those classes. Step outside of that box and do some learning on your own, and get some more knowledge, not just in the kinesiology field, but in other fields that will aid and help you to be better at whatever field you're in. I think that the continual learning process is very important, whether you're in college or out of college. You have to keep growing, keep making your mind sharper, regardless of where you're at in your life. But the biggest thing outside of continuously learning would be seeking help and advice. It's never a bad thing to ask for help. And if you ask somebody for help and they're a total turd about it, it's not the person that you want to seek help from anyway. That person's a tool, and you don't want help from a tool. So you want to reach out to somebody that is really going to be generous and kind and willing and desirous to help you grow as a person, to help you grow in the profession or the field that you are interested in. So that is the biggest thing outside of continuously learning, is having somebody there that you can reach out to, lean on, and learn from in whatever field or industry you might be getting into.
Awesome. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to add? I know I was kind of asking you random questions. Did you miss any talking points you wanted to talk about?
Sorry, I don't know the hotkeys. I'm trying to go back and forth between Zoom and the
No worries.
No, I don't think I have anything else too crazy. I'd love to answer any questions that folks have if we want to transition to that. It might not be a super long class. I don't know if you have more after this, but maybe getting out of class early. I'm not saying that. That's not me promising that, but hey, I don't know.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions? If you don't feel comfortable talking out, there's the chat function. I can share that with him, or just unmute yourself and go for it.
I have a question for you, Mr. Coggins. I want to do the same thing that you are. I want to be a personal trainer and have my own gym as well. I was just wondering how long it took you after you graduated from UNG to build up your business.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, Ellie. So the thing about where I'm at is kind of interesting. Since I have moved into CrossFit Dahlonega, the business kind of has already been there. It was already established as far as CrossFit Dahlonega goes. So there was a membership that I kind of took over from that perspective. So that was awesome. That's a huge benefit for me to kind of jump into a business that's already been going. I just have to kind of make sure that it doesn't fall apart, but still want to grow, right? We don't want to just stagnate and stay where we're at. We want to continue to grow so we can impact more people's lives. So the biggest thing for me in doing that and being able to make the gym grow from the 65 members that we had to where we're at now at about 95 members is we have moved from just kind of like the daily, like, hey, come work out, have a good time, like that's awesome, to more of a intentional relationship with people. Like when people would come to the gym, I do my best to reach out to them and see how they were doing, like send them text messages, ask them what's going on in their life, just continuously having a lot of touch points in their lives so that you are continually building a relationship, and they know, because they might think that you care about them, but if you're not actually engaging with them on a regular basis, they don't feel that, they don't know that. So that has been one thing I think that has really aided us in building a business or a larger clientele as far as the gym goes, is just reaching out to people, being real with people, asking people how they're doing on a regular basis, asking them what's going on in their lives, stupid things like, hey, what did you think about the debate last night? Like, well, actually, maybe don't ask that, but hey, little questions like that, things like that to really get folks engaged. Yeah.
Right. Well, cool. Would you be interested in mentoring any of us if that is our career field, to see if that's really what we wanted to do?
Yeah, for sure. I would. I think I've already talked to Carrie about this, but I think you guys have a project that you're going to be doing later, or you have to have completed. She can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm willing and able and happy to kind of offer my wings for you guys to fly under, however you want to do that.
Thank you.
So for that informational interview you guys have to do for your final project, that's kind of what I talked to Thomas about, that he'd be more than happy to be on our kind of interviewee list if you're interested in kind of using him for that project. So you can email me about that and I can connect you, or if Thomas is okay, I can share his email and you can connect that way. So however you guys want to do it. But yes, he is open to that, and we are very gracious for him allowing us to steal some of his time. All right, so anybody else have a question?
Yeah, so I have a two questions. One, what kind of certifications do you have as a trainer? And two, do you feel like you have to maintain some level of fitness to maintain your credibility as the owner of your own gym and be the trainer?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jerome. I'm assuming it's Jerome, correct?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. I just didn't want to mispronounce your name. It's really important. I said I muted myself. Certifications, I have obviously a degree in physical education from UNG, bachelor's there. I have ACE fitness personal training certification. I have CrossFit level 1 certification. I have a bunch of other smaller CrossFit specific certifications. But the big three are those: the 4-year degree, the ACE CPT, and then the CrossFit Level 1. Those are the three certifications that I have that are over and above most folks in the field, right? So those are important to have. And you need to have those if this is kind of the thing that you want to get into, but you need to really figure out if it's what you want to do it. Now, here's the thing I will say, that I think we were done a little bit of an injustice at UNG, and I don't know if this is the case, but if this is the field you want to get into and you have taken all of your kinesiology courses and you know you want to be a personal trainer, I highly encourage you to just go ahead and sign up for the ACE personal training certification, and just take the test right after you graduate or right before you graduate if you have that extra time, because any and all of the questions that they're going to ask you on that certification for your personal training test, you already know. Like, you have got that in your brain already, and you're going to be able to knock that personal training certification out of the park. I didn't ever have that told to me, so I waited to get my personal training certification, and I was like, I know all this. Why did I even study for this an extra year? I learned this in college. I should have just taken this right out of college. So that'd be one encouragement that I would give to you if that's something that you want to do. As far as the maintaining your own physical fitness and making sure you look a certain way in this industry, yeah, for sure. You are a picture of what you offer, in a sense, right? So if I go and tell you, now this is this is kind of weird because I'm at Waffle House right now, but if I go and tell you to eat really well, because I'm a nutritionist, I tell you to have the best nutrition ever, but I also am 350 pounds, that doesn't really, like, you're not really going to listen to me. You're not actually going to take my word for what I have to say, because, like, I'm not practicing what I preach. Thankfully, I'm not a nutritionist, so I can eat all the Waffle House I want. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But for me, I am a picture of what I preach. So I have to maintain a certain level of fitness. I have to not necessarily have like an 8-pack or a 6-pack or whatever. I don't need to be super swole or anything like that. I just need, within my field, to not look sloppy, not look nasty, quote unquote nasty. And I have to be able to maintain that level of fitness. Yeah, please. Thank you so much. That level of fitness throughout the course of my career. So I can't just let myself go. Does that answer your question, Jerome?
Yeah, it does. I was going to have a follow-up, but you answered it in the middle of your answer. So thank you.
Say that again. Sorry.
I said thank you. I was going to have a follow-up, but you answered it in the middle of your answer. So thank you very much.
Cool. Awesome. I read your mind.
All right, anybody else?
Oh yeah, I have a question. It's more about the CrossFit aspect of it. I know I hear a bunch of different things about like working out and CrossFit are like two different things, basically what it is. But like from CrossFit, is it more like gaining muscle or losing weight, or like what's the main focus of like CrossFit?
That's an awesome question, Noah. And so CrossFit, we achieve and we look to achieve fitness across broad times in what we call modal domains. So that just means an all-inclusive fitness. So you guys, I know, just learned about 10 components of health or 10 components of fitness, right? So we try and touch basis on each one of those 10 components throughout the course of your time, whether that be a week, whether that be a month, whatever, however we want to program to touch on all of those components of fitness. That way we have a perfect kind of jack of all trades as far as our fitness goes, and we're not just going to crush the muscular strength. We're not just going to crush the cardiovascular endurance. We're going to try and be really good at the muscular strength. We're going to try and be really good at the cardiovascular endurance. We're going to try and be really good at the agility. We're going to try and be really good at the balance. We're going to, like, all of those, the flexibility, all of the components of fitness, we're going to try and be good at all of those. So what that would look like is we don't just specifically train for let me rewind. most of our population does not specifically train for like being a 100% CrossFit athlete hardcore, right? A lot of our population is older ladies that are in their 50s, 60s. A lot of our population is moms. A lot of our population is older gentlemen. So what we are really focusing on in that is to make them as healthy and fit as they possibly can. Right. And so what we kind of define as fitness is you be able to operate within your daily lives without any nagging or difficulty or painfulness within your daily living. If we can achieve that, we can make you strong, which is a key basis that a lot of people don't have. And I'm not talking like bench press 400 pounds strong. I'm talking like, can you squat to a toilet and stand up without having to use the handicap rail as an older lady? Like, that's strong, right? Can you do that? That's awesome. We've achieved some fitness there. So we're trying to in the CrossFit realm make sure that people can live their lives free of any external implements that might be required, especially as we get older. Now, for the younger population, it's a little bit different. We get a little bit more competitive with each other. We try and push each other a little bit harder. We try and maybe go for those bigger numbers on some of the lifts and stuff like that. But it is in general, all-encompassing realm of fitness where we're not just focused on sets and reps, or we're not just focused on running a half marathon. We want to make sure that we can do those things, but we might not be the best at them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So now I don't know where I fit in the younger group or in the older group. Maybe I'm
Silly young buck. Silly young buck.
All right. Anybody else have a question? So far.
I do. I was wondering, did you ever do like any internships before you like chose your career, or like anything to like determine like where you wanted to go?
So I didn't do any like specific internships. So I know for my wife, she had to do an internship at the end of her degree for, she was getting a kinesiology degree. She went to a nutritionist for her like end of her career or end of her college time internship, I guess. I didn't have to do that being a physical education major, but I did have to do student teaching. So I had to go to some schools, each level. So primary, secondary, that's not right, elementary, middle, and high school. And I had to do student teaching for semesters at each one of those so that I had an understanding of what it was to be a physical education teacher in those fields. And that's kind of where I found out, like, I'm not really going to be in the teaching field in that regard. I'd rather teach like grownups that want to listen to me. That sounds more appealing. So I didn't do any specific internships, but I did get a lot of on-the-job training, I guess, with shadowing really one of the guys who brought me into CrossFit and really mentored me in my time at UNG.
Very cool. Yep, I remember the student teaching days. Good times. All right, anybody else? Questions? No? Okay, well, we won't interrupt your breakfast date any longer, but I do want to say thank you so much for taking some time to talk to my students and, you know, give them a little insight on the personal training and owning a gym business world. So again, if you guys are interested in connecting with Thomas and maybe doing the informational interview with him, let me know. Or I can also post his email if you guys just want to reach out to him directly. But other than that, again, thank you. My class, if you'll hang out for just a few minutes, we're going to let Thomas go. But again, thank you so much. This was really beneficial. And it's great to see you. I hope to see you soon once life gets a little more settled.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And yeah, I'll see you soon, Carrie.
I hope so.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for hopping on. I hope you got a little bit out of that, at least a little bit. So I am starting to add in all of our guest speakers. I'm sending you guys calendar invites. Some of those are on Tuesday, Thursday. If you aren't available during that time, you have class or something, that's okay. It's not required for you to show up at that time. But I am recording all of these presentations so you can go back and watch it if you want to. But other than that, the last thing is next week we will be in person. So we're kind of talk about the midterm since that's coming up. We'll go over some big ideas for that and then kind of, you know, touch on the informational interviews, see if you guys need help connecting with people and things like that. So I will post the groups for our in-person meetings. We're going to split up Monday, Wednesday, so nobody will go on Friday. Let me know once I post those if I need to switch you. If you have something going on Wednesday, you need to be moved to Monday, that's totally fine. Just let me know. But other than that, any questions? Oh, and Thomas put his email in the chat if you're interested in reaching out to him. If you guys want to open up the chat, and I can post it in D2L as well. All right, sound good?